stop comparing. The secret to success and happiness. Near the peaceful village, nestled among lush green fields, there was a beautiful forest. Beside the forest was a small village where a boy named Ethan lived. Ethan was a hard-working and kind-hearted young boy, but he had one habit that always made him unhappy. He constantly compared himself to others. Whenever he saw his friend Michael, who was always the top student, Ethan sighed, "I wish I were as smart as him." When he saw his neighbor David, who was wealthy, he thought, "If only I had as much money as him." Even when he saw someone running fast, he felt disheartened. Why can't I be as fast as them? Gradually, Ethan's life sank into disappointment. He lost focus in his studies, and his enthusiasm for work diminished. He felt like he could never be as successful as those he admired. One day, a famous sage visited the village. He was known for his wisdom and ability to enlighten people. Hearing about the sage, Ethan approached him and shared his problem. "Sir, I work very hard, but whenever I see someone better than me, I feel sad. I feel like I can never be like them. Please help me get rid of this feeling." The sage smiled warmly and said, "Come to the oldest tree in the village tomorrow morning, and you will find the answer to your question." Ethan found it strange but believed there must be a reason. Early the next morning, as the sun began to rise, he reached the old tree. The sage was already there, waiting for him. Pointing toward the forest, the sage asked, "Look carefully at this forest. What do you see?" Ethan looked around and replied, "I see many different kinds of trees. Some are very tall, some are short. Some bear lots of fruit while others don't." The sage nodded and asked, "If a mango tree started complaining that it was not as tall as the coconut tree, or if the coconut tree felt sad that it couldn't bear sweet fruit like the mango tree, would that make sense?" Ethan chuckled. "No, sir. That would be foolish." The sage smiled. "Exactly. But why are you doing the same thing to yourself? Every tree has its unique purpose. The mango tree is meant to bear sweet fruit, while the coconut tree stands tall and strong. Humans are the same. Each person has their own journey and destiny." Ethan was silent, but he still had some doubts. The sage took him to a nearby pond, where many fish were swimming. He then pointed to a bird in the sky and asked, "If this fish started complaining that it couldn't fly like the bird, would that be fair?" Ethan shook his head. "Not at all. Fish are meant to swim and birds are meant to fly. If a fish tried to fly, it would fail." The sage nodded, looking at Ethan with wise eyes. "Then why do you want to be like someone else? Your journey is your own. You have qualities that others don't. If you keep comparing yourself to others, you will lose sight of your own strengths. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to become the best version of yourself." At that moment, Ethan had a realization. He understood that he had been making himself miserable by chasing something that wasn't meant for him. Instead of appreciating his own abilities, he had been trying to follow the shadows of others. From that day forward, Ethan stopped comparing himself to others. He began to focus on his strengths, working hard to improve them. Slowly, his confidence returned. He no longer felt sad when he saw someone better than him. Instead, he learned from them and grew stronger. Years later, Ethan became a successful businessman. Not only was he prosperous, but he also became an inspiration to the entire village. When people asked him for the secret to his success, he simply smiled and said, "Never compare yourself to others. If a fish tries to fly, it will always fail. But if it hones its swimming skills, it can rule the entire ocean." Focus on your own journey, recognize your strengths, and carve your own path to success. That is the true key to happiness and achievement. Lessons from the story. 1. Stop comparing yourself. Everyone has their own journey. Comparisons only drain your motivation. 2. Appreciate your strengths. Focus on developing yourself instead of chasing others. 3. Success comes from personal effort, perseverance, and utilizing your strengths lead to the best results. 4. Learn instead of envy. Look at those better than you for inspiration, not self-doubt. 5. Life is about balance. Everyone has their own value. Embrace it and grow in your own way. Did you find this lesson valuable? Like and subscribe to our channel for more meaningful stories. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story.